Hello everyone, welcome once again to the Train Aid HQ. My name is Nick, and in today's video we are looking at the Level 3 Award in Education and Training, and we're investigating how to answer question 1.4 on Unit C, which is explain how different assessment methods can be adapted to meet individual learning needs. So for this question, we're thinking of you as an assessor and how we can make adjustments to assessments to make them more accessible and supportive for our learners. So we're thinking of the different ways that we can make changes, we can make tweaks to assessments to support our learners. And to complete this question, as we can see, we need to explain a minimum of 4 ways assessments can be adapted within teaching and training. So if we just have a look at the example there, we can give learners 25% extra time, so we can work with the awarding body to inform the awarding body of the qualification that some learners do need extra time to complete an assessment. Perhaps they have dyslexia, they perhaps need time to digest the information, and really assessments awarding bodies are really supportive as well. So if you inform that learners do need adaptations, they will grant typically 25% of extra time. Within an examination or an assessment, you may rely on another staff member to be a reader or a scribe. So that is a way of adapting the assessment as well. So you can arrange for a staff member to be a reader, to read the question for a learner to explain the answer. Okay, so that's another way of supporting a learner, is to sit within perhaps a private room and to read the question for the learner to say their response as well. Furthermore, you can have a scribe. So once again, you could have a staff member who writes down the answer. So it could be that a learner has perhaps a hand injury, or perhaps a poor writing style. Or, that's not an issue. The staff member can be a scribe to the learner as well. If a learner is suffering from exam stress, as we know, that's quite a common factor, we can arrange for the exam to take place within a private room, of course, under supervision from an invigilator. But it's very important that we make those changes as well. So if a learner does disclose they have exam stress, not a problem. Can we book out a training room, a private training room for the assessment to take place there? Adaptation of resources, so not a problem. So perhaps we can make adjustments to the assessment. So if it's, for example, an exam handwritten paper, could we change that to a laptop so learners can type their answer rather than write an essay? So that's looking at adapting resources there. If we have a learner who has English as a second language, okay, can we arrange for a support specialist such as a translator to interpret the question, to record the responses given by the learner? You could even print the test paper within a different language as well. So it's all about making changes to support the learner. So just on to the assessment table, we have got 4 different topics. We have the environment, the method chosen, time, and also the color or the color size of the resource as well. So we'll come on to each one. I've done the first section for you so we can see what the question is all about and the detail needed there. So first of all, as mentioned before, environment. So as we know, with examinations, assessments, they can become quite stressful for learners, especially if they feel that, assessments, there are learners around them taking part within an exam. They could be worried, they could be self-conscious about completing the test paper with many people around. If that's the case, then a private exam room can be organised distraction-free, so the learners with sort of focus issues, with anxiety, with worry, they can focus solely on their test paper. But the exam must be monitored by an exam invigilator, as we know. Another point I put down there is physical accommodations to ensure that physical spaces are accessible for learners with mobility challenges, including the availability of assisted devices or seating arrangements there. So when sort of thinking about booking the exam room, if there are learners with accessibility or mobility challenges, we need to ensure that they can access the examination room hassle-free. So we're thinking about the actual environment itself, where they need to be. Can they physically get to the exam room as well? So for each of these boxes, I would just say just a few lines, just in your own words, about how you can make an adaptation. So for the environment, you may wish to describe a private exam room as well. So it's all about making a change there. So I'd say one example for each is enough. Next one is the method chosen. So as mentioned before, what you can do as an assessor, you can make changes from perhaps a written assessment to utilizing a computer or a laptop. So once again, if learner has perhaps a hand injury, or if they if I've got a really poor writing style, which the assessor might not be able to read their handwriting, okay, no problem. So can we change the method from handwritten to typing on a computer, for example? Or it could be the method can be chosen. So it goes from verbal to a scribe. So you could have a staff member who is handwriting the assessment there. So if I was to complete this assessment question, I'd write perhaps, so you could have a written assessment is changed to a computer-based assessment. So what I mean by that, as mentioned, if it was handwritten, we're adapting that to a computer-based assessment. So it's exactly the same question, but it's on a laptop or computer, or you could have a scribe as well. So once again, when completing that question, just to describe the change there. So that's all about the methods. You're making a change there. Time. So as mentioned before, awarding bodies are really supportive nowadays. If a learner has disclosed they have particular needs, such as a dyslexia, they perhaps just need just more take-up time to digest the information, and that's fair enough. So 25% extra time to be provided to a learner. Okay, so if they have dyslexia or a particular need that they've just disclosed during the initial assessment stage, so absolutely we can make changes that way to the assessment. So once again, I would say just to expand on that. So we're looking for 2 to 3 lines of you explaining that assessment method adaptation. Of course, you could think about the time of the day as well. So if a learner perhaps has been on a night shift and then they have assessment scheduled at 9 a.m. the next day, they could be quite fatigued and they're not going to get the best out of the assessment. So we could obviously schedule maybe a time and date of the assessment which they are going to be at their best. They're going to feel quite fresh as well. So think about the assessment. If it's an observation, we can adjust the time or date to suit the learner. The color and size of the resource. So this is perhaps thinking about the actual physical resource of the learner. So we could print handouts in a particular font, such as Comic Sans, which is going to help learners to be able to read the assessment paperwork as well. So don't be afraid to making changes to the test paper, to print it in a bigger font size, to use colored paper as well. Fantastic for dyslexic learners once again. So I'm going to put here handouts printed in yellow paper. So yeah, once again, it's going to support dyslexic learners, and you can of course use Comic Sans like I've just done there. So you could obviously make changes to the background like I've just done there, and that's going to help the learner to be able to read the assessment instructions there. We can obviously change the font size as well if you wanted to. So that's really making an adaptation to the actual resource, the written instructions there. So those would be my four areas of changing assessment and making adaptation as well. And you can of course change these if you've got like different suggestions. We've got environment, method chosen, time, color, size of the resource. You can change those. But once again, we're looking for 2 to 3 lines per section. So you're giving just one example is absolutely fine there. Okay, so once again, this assessment question is all about making adaptations and changes to the assessment. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Please do like the video. I hope you get on with this question okay. Please reach out to me if you do have any questions regarding this answer. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you soon.